sent to your shared to your personal profile, and we are live. Okay, so hey everybody, welcome to another session in the lab. When I tell you all that you are in for a treat, oh my goodness. So we have promo power up in this piece today. Okay, when I tell you we have some promo power, it really doesn't matter what you're selling if you don't have the right message. And I'll take that to the bank. So, I mean, seriously, if you don't have the right message, it's just not going to work. And today we don't just have a little bit of help to get the right message going. We have Conrad Deas, seasoned copywriting expert. If you don't know what copywriting means, it means it means like, well, I'll let them tell you what it means, but what it means to me is messaging that helps you sell. There are so many people that write and messages and create flyers and create graphics, and they wonder why no one's responding. Well, it's a lot of that has to do with what's called the copy. And so we have the copy bosses. Okay. When I tell you copy bosses, these gentlemen have graced the stages of some of the strongest digital marketers in the game. They've graced the stage of TSP with Lamar Tyler, with like Black enterprise, like elite celebrated digital marketer, when he needed folks to come in and talk about copy and messaging that sells and helps your promotions do best. These are the fellows that he brought in. Okay, like, hear me on this. And that's just like a little bit of their accolades. Like that, let's start at Lamar and then like go up from there. As far as like, national campaigns, gracing stages, interviews, like Donnie like fit us in between other things today. So thank you, Donnie. And we have someone who was born into amazing messaging. When I say born into amazing messaging, like, I mean that this young lady was born backstage of hip hop legends, hearing people be flawless and lyrical, like what on the mic all her life, and then grew up to not just like see that replicated, but to go on and manage artists, nationally acclaimed artists, and help them get just last fall, had an artist in the middle of everybody else not getting stuff. Here they come with, oh, here's this big JBL promotion. Yeah, just a little player in the music game. So when I tell you that, like, I'm just so excited for this session today. I can't say it enough. And I just thank you all for jumping in to the lab to help people level up above and beyond today. Thank you. So, like, much love.
Thank you.
So with that, I'm going to ask you to share a bit about yourself. I'll start with, we have some conversations, but normally I'll go ladies first, but we're going to do it a little bit different today. And so Conrad, in honor of Veterans Day, fellow veteran, first of all, thank you for your service. Conrad, can we go ahead and jump in and lead with you?
Yeah, so I'm Conrad Deas, direct response copywriter, author, entrepreneur, and I have had the good fortune of having a book, Husband on Purpose, on the Men's Christian Living bestseller list for the last about 58 out of 60 months, and mostly due to the book itself, but also due to the copywriting promotions. And so I write copy for everything from coaches and consultants to SaaS brands to e-com brands. Just last month, broke a record for an e-com brand, did over $10,000 in sales in one day, whereas 90 days prior, they were doing about 15% of their revenue coming from email, and now we're almost at about 50% of the revenue coming from email. And so that is a little about me.
Awesome. Welcome, Conrad. And did y'all hear that? Like, he just kind of slid in, and helped them break, their record. How would you like to break your records for sales in one day? How would you like to do that? Okay.
It sounds amazing. It sounds
like,
amazing.
isn't that awesome?
Mm-hmm.
Like we haven't even talked about your secrets yet. Like, Jonnelle, when I tell you the first time I did a session with Conrad and he had me walk through this session and I love marketing. I love it, right? And been doing it forever. But he had me walk through this session, and it got me so clear on what our followers and listeners wanted to hear, and it totally changed the way that I was approaching the session. And if y'all are watching, like, drop a message in the comments, or if you have any questions, say hello, let us know where you're from, so we can speak to your area and speak to the industry or level area of artistry that you're in. Next, Donnie, can you share? Oh, and everybody, they are going to share 3 secret tips. So I'm so thankful. They're going to gift you with 3 secret tips, all 3 of them from their area. Things that they normally just give to their clients, things that they normally just sell. They're going to gift it to you right in time for Black Friday and holidays. So thank y'all. Thank you for helping people elevate. Thank you for helping people get their good out to the world and promoting it. So okay, all right. So with that being said, and I'm gonna tell you, this brother's funny. Like, he can write some stuff, but he's funny too. He could have easily done the comedy thing. Donnie, Bryant, can you share a bit for the people?
That's pressure right there. No, I'm Donnie Bryant, and I wish I were a comedian sometimes. I'm also a direct response copywriter like Conrad, and probably would have a lot less to say than Conrad. He's a more interesting guy than I am. I don't have any best-selling books. I have books, but they don't sell. We're gonna change that. But I love writing emails. And I'm one of those guys who writes those irritatingly long sales videos that you see, and you're like, why is this still happening? And why am I grabbing my wallet? That's what I like to do. And I've been writing copy since 2007. So I guess it's 13 years. And I like it a lot. I'm mostly right now, I'm working in working with financial professionals. But I've done all kinds of other things, worked in anything from dating to debt relief, and I like to do that. I'm in Chicago, or I'm in the suburbs of Chicago. We got Chicago folk online with us, stand on up, and that's what's going on. And Sharice, if you call, I'm gonna try and show up regardless of who else on the calendar. We make some wiggle room for you. So it's all love, and I'm glad to be here with my people. This is fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate it. I really do. Thanks for making the room. And I love doing the lab. Like, it's just every time people get help to help them elevate. So I love that. And Jonnelle, if you could, I know I kind of shared a bit of your rock star roots, but if you could share a bit with the people as well, and share what you've been into, what you're loving.
So I'm a music manager, and I would say that I'm young in my career, but like Sharice said, I came from a family that was hip hop legends, basically, and that really motivated me to want to work in the entertainment industry. I went to school and studied entertainment management, and I moved out to LA and worked for a big talent agency, and that's how I got my start. I decided I wanted to be in music management. Probably in college, I had a guy that I grew up with, and at some point in time, I ended up meeting Eli Davis, who manages Ninth Wonder, and Anthony Hamilton. And so I was thinking that Donnie probably would fit in with Anthony and Eddie Kane, because they're always cracking jokes. And that's how me and Sharice met on tour with the guys in overseas in South Africa, and it was just nonstop jokes. So that's what came into my mind. And I was thinking about Conrad. I was like, it sounded like Conrad, Sharice, because when I sat in on a marketing session with Sharice, basically that's how I felt for a girlfriend of mine. I was supporting her and figuring out what her brand was all about. And so how you explain, the intense copywriting session with Conrad, I was like, okay, so you guys are basically, feeding each other. So anyway, right now, so I just kind of did your stereotypical working with bigger new managers and kind of being a junior manager and working my way up. So I worked with Anthony Hamilton, Ninth Wonder, and Omarion and Anderson .Paak. And until I decided to rep my own clients, I worked with a vegan chef that's popular in Atlanta named Chef Aki, and Swoop, who you mentioned. And so, I mean, that brings you up to present day. So I'm excited to be here.
And once again, I just need to call out, like, did y'all catch that? Anthony Hamilton and Ninth Wonder and, Omarion and, there's just, just drop the jewels. But that is so I just thank God for the kinds of friends he's blessed me with, because that's how it should be, right? Like, it should be, yeah, like, because we're all on this journey. And there's a quote that we got that I got from I think it was Nelson Mandela, and he said, after a man climbs a great mountain, he reaches the peak of that mountain and finds there's another mountain to climb. So, like, if you're rolling like with us, and I just thank God for friends like you all who are approaching this thing that way, like, not from a, I've arrived, or I'm so cool, I'm too cool for school because of what I've done, but this, okay, so we did that, it was great. Yeah, or let's celebrate the great parts, and now let's go do something greater that helps us, but it helps the more people as well. So I want to make sure that I invite folks that are watching. Thank y'all for checking us out. If you're in a group watching, then you may need to click a link or join to be able to comment, for us to be able to see your comments. But for those who we are able, if you have questions, especially about promo, or why some of your, things that you promoted, why aren't they converting? Why aren't you, when I say converting, why aren't you getting the response that you want? You're in the right place. This is the place to ask those questions. Like, seriously, these folks have done it. You see, they've done it on a grand scale, and they showed up here to share the tips they're going to share. I can't wait to get these. But also, to help. So I know this time. I know this time is expensive. I paid for it, so I have paid for it. Use it, enjoy it. So okay, let's jump into it, because we don't have all day. So Conrad, thank you for agreeing to share 3 of your secrets. So let's go ahead and jump into what would you say is the first secret that you would share with everyone who's with us?
The first secret I would share is sometimes it'll sound obvious, but when you look at people's messaging, you realize it's not so obvious. The number one is to know your audience, like, know what they care about, what they care about on a macro level, at all times, and then what they care about right now. And so we can go into more detail about that. But that's the first thing, is to know your audience.
Awesome. Can you share a bit about, like, because I think what you said about what they care about in general and what they care about right now is so important. So I'm gonna let you meditate on that. But can you expand a little bit on right now versus care about in general versus right now? That is crucial, what you just said.
Yeah. So if, just as an example, let's say your audience, they are parents, right, of elementary age kids. So all the time they're thinking about, maybe the 3 main areas are always going to be what we like to call body, bank, and boo, right? So health, wealth, money, and relationships, right? So they're thinking about these things even for their kids, right? But right now, specifically, they're thinking about, how do I help them succeed while we're at home, while we're doing homeschool from home, if they haven't been doing that before. How do I really, I'm focused on how do I keep them healthy right now? So on a macro level, how do I raise them how I want them to be raised, right? But then in this season right now, how do I keep them healthy? How do I keep them from, going insane, eating up all the food in the refrigerator, because we're at home all the time. And so does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Because it just kind of shows the importance, like you said, of like staying in tune, like, like sharing what's important, but also like what's important all the time and what's important like right now. So that's really good. Okay, so that takes us to our next bit of secret sauce, over to Donnie Bryant. Thank you. Donnie, do you have, what would be your first bit of sauce to share aloud today?
Conrad and I have worked together, so maybe we think in similar terms, because my tip is almost the same as his. I actually wrote down body, bank, and boo. but the first tip is to make any of your communications really about the reader or the viewer or the listener. So even everybody struggles with this. I shouldn't say everybody, but so many of us struggle with this because we think we're promoting ourselves, so we should be talking about ourselves. But the truth is, people don't care about you that much. Well, they love you maybe, but they really are concerned with, they have their own stuff going on. They have their own, like Conrad said, kids eating them out of house and home. Maybe that's just my house. I wear my 13-year-old. He turned 14 today, actually, and he hands me down clothes. He's huge. He's huge. Anyway, so I got my own stuff, my own situations going on. And if you send me messaging, or if I see your messaging and it's all about how cool you are, how dope you are, how you went through this and how you went through that, and it's framed as being about you rather than being about me as the reader, I'm not going to be as engaged with it. I'm not going to be interested in it because I need something that's going to help me right now. Or like Conrad said, it's going to help me with, my health. If you got good workout music, you're going to help me with my bank, good motivational mindset music or whatever. Or it's going to help me with my boo. We got a little romance music, a little mood music. Help me out with this. So then, you put it in, this is going to help you in some way. So if you make your messaging about me, you're not going to engage with people. You want to make it about the people you're reaching out to. What are they going through? And then that goes with anything. If you're on social, you're on email, whatever, what are they thinking about today? They're thinking about, how do I navigate this? Trump ain't quite gone, but he's kind of gone. And some of my friends who I thought were friends ain't friends. And what are they going to say when I step out in the street? Any of those things that are on their mind. What's on your people's mind, or you got to find out. And you got to speak to them where they are if you really want to engage them with your messaging.
It's so funny you say that, because I mean, it's so easy to fall into saying what you want to say and what you think is so important and what you think is cool, or like saying from your own perspective. I know, like, I sometimes go back and read stuff that I wrote as a promo for my own self, and I cringe. It's easier to do it for clients, I guess, because of like more removed from them. Yep. But is that something you all see people like fall into? Like, do people like kind of grow out of it, or like do you see that being an issue like often? Is it really common that people, for whatever reason, just, you can read it and see that they're not writing with their listener or their viewer in mind? In fact, like, do you even have an example like that you could share, of kind of how it sounds when it's the viewer versus just kind of talking from yourself? Like, companies always talk to themselves, like, or even artists, sometimes they're talking to themselves, and instead of really saying what's going to resonate with that listener or that viewer or whatnot.
Yeah, I have a classic one that I've used for a while. Is if somebody, say your audience wants to lose weight, and you just use that language of, she wants to lose weight, or he wants to lose weight. And then when you do some research and you find out that, they really are saying, I want to be sexy, versus I want to lose weight. So you do see that, and it's just, go ahead, Donnie.
that changes everything. Just a light. It's the same thing, but it's not. I don't mean to cut you off, but I mean that's such a powerful example if you think about it. Like, do you want to lose weight? No, you want to be sexy. So I mean, if you feel like losing weight makes your wife like you more, you talk to them about their wife will like you more when you do this. Not, we got this really cool supplement that we got out of, Europe, and it's gonna make you thinner. No, I mean, he doesn't care about Europe. He cares about my wife's gonna want me again. Is she gonna want to take me out in public again? Right. Or whatever it is. I didn't mean to cut you off, bro.
No, that's good. That's a great example. I like that example better. Go ahead.
That's awesome.
It hits an emotion. It hits an emotion. Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Like, yeah, let's see. People, I guess since we already mentioned him, I'll mention him again. He talks a lot about don't nobody care about your features and benefits. No, nobody cares. I mean, well, they care about the benefits. Nobody care about your features. Like, they don't really care that the thing is that the album has 5 CDs in it, or don't nobody care that the sneakers have all leather uppers. They care that the all leather uppers are going to last for the next 2 years, and they don't have to go spend $200 next month buying shoes for 5 kids again. Like, and so, like, I think what you all are saying is really important, and I really, really, really hope people are hearing it. We've got folks in the comments. Thaddeus Summers says that get to the root of their need. Exactly, that's it. Thaddeus, you've got to speak to like where they're at, and I think that gets into what Conrad was saying earlier. That when you're writing your messaging, and you're writing your messaging for your promos, you have to know what they care about, but you also have to know what they care about right now. I think with the hotel chains earlier this year, some of them, when COVID happened, they started running commercials that really talked about how they were sanitizing and black lighting and all that. And it showed, people, always care about a comfy bed, but in the middle of a viral pandemic, I care that bed is heavily sanitized. Thank you.
Can I give you a good example of people that did that earlier this year? Was some of the pizza companies. They were doing the same thing before COVID happened, but then they started highlighting that, this pizza is cooked in a 400-degree oven, it's not touched, from oven to doorstep or whatever. They weren't touching the pizza before COVID, but now it's like, okay, you got to highlight that because that is what's going on now. And so the companies that highlighted it is like, okay, well, that's where we're ordering from. Well, all the rest of them are doing the same thing, but they're not saying that that's what they're doing. So then it's like, that's what's on my mind now. And so that's where I'm, going to get my dollars.
Let me share one too. That's from the music biz. You guys know God Over Money, right? Bizzle and them. Do you read the emails they send out? Bizzle says, there's this thing that's happening right now, people and, whatever beef is happening, whatever trend is happening. And he'll tell you, I got a new single out. I'm giving my perspective. Now, again, you don't necessarily care about your perspective, but it's about a trending topic that you want to hear about. You're already thinking about. You're probably already talking about. Well, I want to hear Bizzle chime in his own, brilliant way, his own perspective. And then you click that email rather than say, I got a new single out, check it out. You're like, okay, whatever. You'd be like, oh, he's talking about the election. Oh, he's talking about COVID. He's talking about, whatever. And you say, I need to hear what Bizzle says about that. So God Over Money does a great job in their promotional emails. Real simple. It's not a 500-word email. They're just like, here's why this matters to you, because it's about a topic you're already thinking about. I'm gonna chime in, 36 bars. Let's go. And that's what's up. I think they do a great job.
What you said is really cool, because I think I've seen it. I don't know I'll ask Jonnelle. Have you seen, Jonnelle, so many artists do just what Donnie said? It's like
so many are chiming in on the conversation for sure. And and as a consumer or as an industry person, I'm also trying to filter out who's really speaking from the heart and who's just jumping on the bandwagon. And that is going to resonate with people or not resonate with them as well, because people are passionate about these topics and issues. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. They're passionate about it. So many artists, they want to jump out the box and they're like, I got that hot new fire. Okay, maybe you do. But why do I care? And it sounds harsh to say that, but it's we want to see folks, especially all of y'all that have these good like messages that the world needs to hear. I want to see you succeed, and I know that just saying I got that new fire, new single, not this date, that date, it's not gonna necessarily get you there. And we have a great awesome question from Alvin Jackson in the chat right now. And Alvin, like, first of all, let me just say, clap you up for hearing it. And I can see just by virtue of your question that you're hearing what they're saying, you're internalizing it, and you're saying, okay, so how do I make this apply to my Christmas album? And this is a great question. And so his question is, first of all, he's saying he loves this. So shout out to y'all, Conrad, Donnie, and Jonnelle. Like, round of applause. Thank y'all. And so he's loving this, and I am too. Thank y'all. And he's saying that he has a Christmas LP. He's asking, can he make this about family and loved ones and kids? And I imagine that he's saying that because of the season that we're going into. And so I'll ask y'all, like, how would you like respond to that? Like, client comes in and what would you say?
I would say that Christmas is about family, and most people the people that haven't been spending Christmases with their family, we're gonna have the tightest holiday season this season, because we spent so much time with our families this year, and we've reconnected with so many people, and so I really think that a lot of people are dealing with their families in different ways, working out issues with family members that they haven't had to work out issues with in the past, and giving people some inspiration and hope, some guidance in how to do that, maybe how you've dealt with those things in a cheery, jolly Christmas way, or even just in a heartfelt way, could really work out for Christmas.
Yeah, I think that what Jonnelle's saying is like it kind of illustrates like that importance, Alvin, of understanding. Like she said so many people have had this this year of like connecting online, and maybe in person or maybe not. And so like I'm going to back off of it because I want Conrad and Donnie to chime in, but it makes me wonder what kind of year your audience has had. Have they spent this time really just disconnected, and are they like really heartbroken that they're not going to see their loved ones, or are they a little okay with that? Like, what kind of audience do you have? Like, who is it? I say that because just before this session, I reached out to a really sweet person who's like kind of up in radio, and I asked her, did she want to jump in here to listen to what for tips for her artists, and I asked her, like, we were just connecting, and I was like, how are you handling holidays? And she's like, I don't do holidays. But Donnie and Conrad, what do you all think, for Alvin's question? And Jonnelle, again, like just I think what you said about how the year has gone for so many people, that's important. And so Alvin, like, it makes me wonder how your people have had it. But Conrad and Donnie, what do you all think?
I'd agree with Jonnelle. It's important to keep in mind, where people are with everything going on. As a person who, I like Christmassy type stuff, like Christmas music, Christmas movies. I'll be the corny one that likes all that stuff. And for me, like, I live in Las Vegas, and most of my family's on the East Coast. And so my sister and my mom and stuff, they were supposed to come out here for Thanksgiving, but because of what's going on, they're not coming. And so, like, I'm the type of person that would be that's attracted to a Christmas type offer. And for me, like, the emotional state where I am right now, it is the missing family. And the heart, the heartbroken type of stuff, where like this season is going to be different because we're not able to, be around family like we normally would. And then also I'm remembering the memories of Christmas. To me, Christmas always brings back the memories and stuff too, of being able to be around family. And then especially, this holiday season, not being able to be around family. So as a consumer, I guess, that likes Christmassy type stuff, that's the emotional state where I am. And so to make it about family, loved ones, all that stuff, I absolutely would say yes, to do that. And then just know that specifically right now, like that nostalgic type stuff is going to be like good for somebody like me. It's like, yeah, let me play this music and cry a little bit.
I mean, I think that's 100% where a lot of people are. And yeah, I mean, it makes total sense to hone in on those things, because we know at Christmas time, it's one of the big things for most people, is family, one way or another. Now, look, I'm kind of glad for COVID, because my wife makes this lasagna, and it's famous. Last year, she made greens and lasagna, and I literally cried. I couldn't help the tears fall. We're at the dinner table, tears falling. The kids are like, "What's wrong with that?" Like, it's so good. It's so good. So I don't want nobody coming over to my house and getting in on my lasagna. Stay safe, y'all, at your house. I'm gonna be here with lasagna and these greens. But seriously though, have yourself a merry little Christmas. That's gonna be a tearjerker this year when you think about it. Those faithful ones who are dear to us, will be near to us. We want that. And so Alan, I think you're 100% correct. You highlight those things, family, yeah. those memories, your own childhood memories too. Like to recapture some of them feelings that we don't quite feel anymore. Like this music will help you recapture the feelings, and that's what we listen to music for, largely, anyways, is to have an emotional experience. And so remind them of that. It's going to be an emotional experience. It's not just 16 tracks on a piece of plastic. It's, they don't even sell CDs anymore, do they? It's not just songs. This is a journey. It's going to be an emotional journey, and remind you of the family. It'll, make you feel good about things and everything that's going on. This will be a little escape for you, and I think you got it right. Family and loved ones and the kids, that's what's going to get people say, yeah, I need to get with that.
And I want to add too, don't forget about the young working professionals that are far away from home, who probably will just be doing Friendsgivings and Friends Christmases. We need music too, okay? We're not married yet, we might just be dating, whatever. So think about us too, because we're consuming hip hop music and we like Christmas. So have a little something for us. Sharice, I was going to go ahead and jump in because this is perfect. I wanted to show this example of the next tip that I have, which is to make the copy visually appealing. And I had this, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see, but I had this image of Swoop's album, and it was called Sunshine. And we used Peanuts as basically our inspiration for the album. And I think that there was a marketing text around it, but this is the photo that I found that was the cover, and that really resonated with people. And it's a version of himself as a Peanuts character. And I also had this, just another photo of something. It's actually a plant-based sandwich, and I just wanted to show an image that is colorful, that grabs you, that you can use to put text on there that also grabs people, because we love color, we love it to be high quality. And so obviously if you're on Instagram, you know what photos you gravitate to. and what looks really exciting. And so I just want people to keep in mind when they are, as they're, working on their copywriting, their messaging, and their promo. That's also a big part.
That's huge. Is that an exclusive look at Swoop's album cover? I ain't seen that.
That's an old one. It's an old one.
I don't know how I missed it then.
His album came out during Christmas time a couple years ago. It was called Sunshine. So
I missed it. I need to go cop that right now then, don't I?
So I have a question. You can. There you go. Get your memory going. There you go. Get your memory going, Donnie. Thank you for that, Jonnelle. And so that's super helpful. Like, and I love the way you all used like that nostalgia. Like we've heard that millennials and Gen Z, they're big on nostalgia, more than like any generation before them. They actually like us parents. Good job. Good job, Generation X.
What?
So surprising. So, but with that, I thought about what you said, like the approach you all took, that being rooted in nostalgia, it provides so many opportunities to build activations and video experiences and virtual experiences that can keep that going. Donnie and Conrad, Danielle is asking about virtual shopping, and it made me and I think that what she's asking about and what Jonnelle just shared, like they kind of for me made me have a question. So I'll ask you one. Can you speak to her question? All three of you, but I have a question for what Jonnelle just shared. Do you all think it's important to have an anchoring message, like for a campaign? Like if it's a campaign does it have to have an anchoring message, or does a single piece of copy have to have an anchoring message? Like I look at what Jonnelle and her team did, what they all did for Swoop's album, and it's rooted right there in nostalgia. And there's just so many really cool digital activations, digital experiences, virtual experiences or contests that you can do around that. And I'll admit, I'm not a copywriter, which is why I'm always like giving y'all your props. I sometimes, if I have to do copy on my own, I get to a place where I'm like, okay, do I, how rooted do we have to be in our, or even when I did marketing at Coke, we always called it this, we called it the core creative idea. And sometimes I think those of us from corporate can like maybe take that almost too far. So I'd like to ask one, what do you all think about an anchoring message or an anchoring concept, like the really cool one that Jonnelle just shared? And then how would you relate that? Maybe even an example for Danielle's great question here.
You want to go first, e-com master?
Well, I'll just as far as your question, Sharice, about an anchoring message. Let me know if this answers it. So, and actually, it goes right into my second tip, which ties into the first one. The second tip is speaking their language. And talking about how. So what they care about from the first tip, and then the second thing is to talk about it how they talk about it. But you speak their language, but you use your voice. So it's kind of that balance. You have that delicate balance of I still believe in, as an example, I believe in, calorie deficit as a way to lose weight. Is the only way to lose weight. So that is my, what do you call it? That is my anchor message. My belief, what I'm teaching you is that you have to have a caloric deficit, but you want your wife to not be embarrassed by taking you out. And so I'm going to combine, I'm going to talk about, the belief that I have that you have to have a calorie deficit in a way that, how you talk about it, about, being able to fit into, those jeans still and all that stuff. And so you do have to have both. You still have your anchor message. Like you still have your, your voice, what you're talking about, but you want to talk about those things again, how they talk about it. So does that, so you don't throw out the anchor message is basically what what I want to say. Does that answer your question about the anchor message?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. And then the other question, it went down.
Danielle's question. Here's her question.
Yeah. Okay. How would you promote a virtual holiday shopping event, which is what pretty much all e-com stores, that's what we're doing right now. We're doing it through email, through social. I might need a little more clarity on that, but as far as the how, the same, and really it's almost the same way that we do it all year long. There's a timeline for it. If you want to run an actual promotion, I don't know what you're actually selling, but if you want to run an actual promotion, 30% off, 50% off, 60% off, be clear on the promotion that you're running, have a set timeline for it. It's going to go from this day to this day, and be consistent about that promotion. Prep people for it beforehand, let them know what's going on, when it's going on, and how they can take advantage of the deals that you're offering.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. So you want to use language that is resonating with Black women right now. Business owners, get into the bag, depending on the age that you're targeting. That would be a good place to start.
Yeah. And I think everything that you all have said around being clear on what's important to them right now makes a huge difference, right? Like what are there are different concerns that they would have now than they may have had this time last year. And so Danielle, like in thinking of your audience, right, and what kind of people they are, whether they are, white collar, are they the women who you are attracting, like the business owners, are they offering things, for super affluent women? Are they offering things for women that are maybe a little more blue collar, suburban, urban? Like, I know we all want to say all the time is all the Black women, right? But usually when you have a set, there is like some commonalities that, well, if we're on, if we can really dig in and really pick this thing apart, that it's these type of women. Like, in fact, it's so funny. So I've been doing this digital game for a long time. This is a Sprite.com shirt. This shirt is from when Sprite.com became a thing. Like years ago, like almost 20 years ago. I'm showing my age. But when we launched it, but it's so funny because I use Sprite all the time. If you look at them, yeah, it's a drink, it's a soft drink. Anybody can drink it to be refreshed. Anybody. But you see very clearly, that they've done these partnerships with the NBA, that they've gotten out there and done the step to, the Sprite step off. Like, they are giving you some very, very clear cues that, yes, they would love every person on planet Earth to buy Sprite, but they are making very specific choices that shows you, that they, lean towards, people of color, males. No one just goes over the top with an NBA partnership if you don't care anything about young Black males. So Danielle, I would say, like, I agree 1,000,000% with what Jonnelle is saying. Like, she's like, you want to think about Black women and think about what they're thinking about. And then, like what Conrad and Donnie have already shared, and saying what's important to your audience right now. And that intersection, who are the Black women that you're talking to? And then you can kind of dig into, once you really get tight and extra detailed on which type of Black women you're talking to, then it becomes clear. If you find you have this over-index of nurses, well, then some things around sleep and rest and being prepared for the influx that the news keeps telling us that they're going to have would be really big for them. This, but let me back off, because I want to hear from y'all. So I just get excited about marketing. Sorry.
I throw something in there because I just did a survey recently with Black women, like a lot of Black women, and because that's one of the audiences that I write to, and I, you know, like you're saying, there's different groups of Black women, you know, obviously within Black women, and so one of the interesting finds that I found was like I think it was like over 60% of that audience was 40, basically like 40 to 60. And so that's a different audience than somebody under 40. And so I'm not really writing stuff about, because I do a lot of topical stuff. And so I'm not really writing stuff about, you know, I don't know, Cardi B to them maybe, or, you know what I'm saying? Like,
using references like of Cardi B, the
right,
or whatever you're not going to be using.
Exactly. I'm not going to put in the you know, in the emails and in the messaging. But it's, you know, when I talk about you know, when I talk about maybe like Fannie Lou Hamer and stuff like that to them, like you can tell it resonates with them. And because even right now, you know, you have you know, our next VP, Kamala Harris, all Black women anyway, people have different opinions you know, about her, and so it is important to know you know, even within Black women, who you're talking to.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful rainbow, right? Black women is a beautiful rainbow, but that means there's different strata, there's a variety, and it's, you know, it's a great point that you brought up, and I think that comes back to the anchoring message thing, which the core messaging has to resonate with you. You know that there's different audiences out there. Which one is to you most valuable or most desirable, depending on how you want to do it. If you want to talk about who's going to make you the most money, you know, you got to go do some research. It's probably going to be 40 to 60 versus 25 to 40, depending on what you're selling. Because if you're selling some products are going to be hot in different segments, but you got what's true to you, what's valuable to you. Maybe you love Kamala. Maybe you really aren't crazy about her, but whichever one it is, be true to you, and you're going to attract the people who are also on the same page as you. A lot of people won't like that, but that's fine, because those, you want to attract the people that are valuable to you, that are desirable to you, and they're going to be long-term, the kind of people who you want to serve and the kind of people who you want to be with. So you got to pick what your core philosophy is. And any given campaign, you have maybe a core message here, like the caloric deficit. I've never said the word caloric before. Thank you for that, Conrad. But, you know, that's my philosophy. That's what I really believe in. And if you disagree, that's cool. But I want to get with the people who agree. Caloric deficit is the way to go. Or people who say, oh, how do you say that? Oh, I'm pretending. I'm not going to be on camera doing that.
I will have the clip. I'll have it. So, like, what you say? This man's sarcasm is like fire. He got skills, y'all. So yeah.
But you get what I'm saying. You decide who you want to target, and you focus on them by speaking what's important to them in their language with your voice. So all of that it all ties in together. And like Jonnelle had said previously, we have data that if you make something visually appealing, especially the longer your piece is, you need these little things that are visually appealing and visually arresting to get people to pay attention, because they're scrolling all day. And there's only one way to get them to pay attention to you, to get them to stop. So you can't do that with words, because if you're going like this, no matter how great your word is, they probably won't catch it. They probably won't. Not an email, not on social, not flipping through a magazine, if people still do that. You got to have something that's visually arresting. And then they can see the words that you got. They won't even see your copy a lot of times. Sometimes you have a crazy enough word that will stop people. But most of the time, you're going to need to use both the visually appealing, figuring out colors, figuring out images that work. And then they have a chance to read what you've written copy-wise. So those things kind of tie together. I want to agree with what everybody's been saying about everything. And also, I appreciate, Sharice, you said over-indexing. That's a nice marketing nerd term. I love it. We're definitely, with our people.
I wanted to chime in. I'm not sure if were you finished?
Go ahead.
You still have more. I wanted to chime in as an example, another example. If you wanted to get young Black women who are professionals, I thought, I don't know if you saw Amanda Seales' stand up, but she really spoke to, I would say, maybe age 28 to 42, and there were a lot of jokes about corporate office world as per your email, meaning as per the email below, meaning you didn't read my message before, so now I'm gonna please see, and so those are professional things that when people get under your skin, we all can relate to, and being able to possibly use that think more creatively about that. That could resonate to, I would say, a broad audience of Black women as well. So I just wanted to give another example.
You should always cut me off, because otherwise you'll never get a chance to talk. I believe in the Berry Gordy philosophy of speaking. You told Mike, Michael Jackson, remember in All American Dream, he said, never relinquish your mic. You never give it up. So you got to snatch the mic from me. But I want to say this. And going back to Danielle, so your promotion is going to be like what we've been talking about. I categorize it in fears and frustrations. Those are things that you need to think about when you're beginning to choose how you're promoting, because your promotion really is going to have the underlying thing. I'm going to help them with their frustrations. I'm going to relieve their fears. So I say fears and frustrations. It's a little alliteration. Their dreams and desires. So you're going to help them achieve their dreams or reach their desires, or their pains and problems. So if they have a pain that you can solve in a unique way, that's what your promotion is about. You have a problem that's bothering the mess out of them, but you can help them. That's what you talk about. They got a frustration. It won't let them sleep at night, but you can help. Guess what? That's what we're talking about. I'm throwing my microphone. What you call it? Fears, or they're scared of something. They're really nervous about something. You say, but I have a solution. There's a way to escape that fear. That's what you build the foundation of your marketing on, your promotion on. I don't even remember where I left off. But fears, frustrations, dreams, desires, pains, and problems. And if you can just pick one of those things. If there's an overarching fear or problem or dream that you can say, I'm going to pick that one thing, and that's going to be the main thing that I'm doing here. It's an expo, so it's like, it's hard to get foot traffic because there's nobody walking around. Well, how can you solve that? Or whatever. It's hard to get web traffic because ad costs are up right now. They're probably going back down now. If that's what you solve, then you solve that. And kind of pick one thing. You don't have to only talk about one thing, but that's kind of the main thing that you're going to get to. It might need to be a kind of a big fear or whatever, so that you can talk about multiple things over time if you're going to promote for 2 weeks or whatever. You talk about how hard it is to drive traffic. I'm going to talk about ad costs. I'm going to talk about whatever. I don't have anything specific in mind, but build on that foundation.
Well, and right now for her, she's doing an expo featuring Black woman-owned businesses. I think we're still in that season of people wanting to support Black businesses, woman-owned 100%. Businesses, and so ride the wave of, hey, we got a Black woman vice president. Let's, hey, support. But it's more than just at a national level. Support these smaller Black woman-owned businesses. And so talk about what's going on and how what you're doing supports what we want to supports what people want to support.
And look, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty either. Most people I get out of hand on this one because people, they want to be nicer than me. I'm not very nice. But if you say, look at what Eva Longoria wants to say, Black women are cool, but Latino women are what's happening. And you know what? We can take that bullcrap apology that she gave us, or we can come, we could do what we got to do, keep building what we're building. It's up to you. anyway, you could get your hands dirty if you want to in your promotion. That's a good social post. That's a good YouTube video. That's a good email. You could do all three. You say, well, we're coming together. We're not gonna let y'all underestimate us. We're not gonna let you pretend that we're just on the sidelines. We're the main show, and we're showing up at this expo to show you how that works and to make it bigger and connect with other people who are building. And boom, you can only do that for about a week because people will have forgotten about that by next week. But you can get your hands dirty and pick a little fight with sometimes. Nothing wrong with picking a fight. That's gonna get people it draws people in because they want to see whose side you got. I agree with you. I want to read what you're saying. I want to hear what you're saying. I disagree with you. I'm watching even more because I can't wait to chew you up in the comments. And picking a fight is an effective way to get people paying attention to you. And that's one of the best ways to go viral as well.
I think our friend Freddie Ra, y'all don't know Freddie, he has these like black these Black History cards. And just to see the cards, you wouldn't know that this skilled fight picker has launched. And when I say like fight,
top notch.
He said
he's top notch.
It's incredible. Like, and I get sucked in, and I'm like typing. I'm like, I've got things to do. Dealing with you, Freddie. He'll post a very a controversial question, and people, and it's like go. And he'll even post it a little way that sometimes it shows where he's leaning. But Donnie, I think you're so right. Like that being able to ask questions or pick the fights that you think your audience wants to fight with you are absolutely strong ways to do that. I don't have time to go into like the ways that Coke has done it, but I've seen it inside of corporate and out. And I want to shout out somebody, a past lab guest in the comments, y'all. Eddie Powell Jr., owner and founder and CEO of On Tour Services. When I tell you, like, y'all are hanging out with folks, like, you see the panel, all the fire they're bringing, and then you don't know like who's in these comments with you. Eddie started his touring. Started his touring career with the Patti LaBelle, and then let's just okay, he started with the Patti LaBelle, but he's done tour management for people, amazing people. Anthony Grammy Award winner Anthony Hamilton. He's also done them for Justin Timberlake, for Alicia Keys. But I think what you said about people who know how to pick the right fights, it made me think of, to go back to Eddie's hello, because he one of the things he prides his company on is class and professionalism, especially on tour. And so like he is one of the people in the comments that has had to make sure that he's picking the right fights and standing for his artists on this kit, but maybe not standing on this thing. Like he's had to have those moments personally over and over and over again. Y'all, if you don't know Eddie, he's a great person to connect. I highly recommend following On Tour Services online. Thanks, Eddie, for jumping back in the lab with us. He was a guest in the past, but I think he's also worked with a lot of people who've done a nearly flawless job of picking the right fights, and picking the fights on the side enough that their audience is going to go, yeah, thanks for fighting my fight. And I think we're seeing in the news, politically, some people who, for good or bad or indifferent, are fighting the fights that their audience has wanted them to secretly fight for years, ever since the civil rights. Okay. We see people getting some political wins for fighting fights that their audience wanted them to fight. Alvin said this is, and I know, Donnie, I think you have a time crunch, so we've got to wrap up. Is that right?
I made a good amount of time for this, so we're all good.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Donnie. Okay, well, I'll still be mindful. Alvin is asking, about, he's saying, how to summarize the targeting. I think, like in what you all are saying about copy and messaging, that you shared an amazing tip. Thank you for that gift. Thank you for the little tool set there at the bottom of the screen. Thank you for that, Donnie. But are there any things that you all would say, like, kind of just keep this in mind if it's not those? Because Alvin was asking, maybe for for like 3 to 5 or top, but I'd also say that this is why copywriting is an entire industry. I've seen corporations literally spend $5,000 for 8 words. that this is why copywriting.
Where are they at?
Right.
Hook a brother up.
Well, yeah, to go back to Alvin's question, summarizing top 3 or 5. And I think we kind of maybe went off out of format of your normal.
Absolutely. We went around one time and that was it.
So my third tip was going to be about being clear. So being clear on what your audience should do and why they should do it. And I'll start with the why. The why is tied into who they are and how they, or excuse me, what they care about and how they talk about what they care about, right? And so tying what you want them to do, like buy your Christmas album, into or listen to your Christmas album and share your Christmas album with other people, tying why they should do that into, them being a parent and how they talk about their adorable kids and, and all that stuff. And so, but you want to be very clear. And a lot of times in marketing, we can get caught up in being clever, and we want to have clarity over cleverness, right? And so be very clear on, so in promotional stuff, in the messaging, give them, like, make it clear on how they can go pick up your album. Like, go to Spotify, or better yet, go to, alvinschristmasalbum.com or whatever, something very clear that they can go to stream your album, to share your album. And so as far as summarizing the 3 things, I would say, know your audience, know what they care about, talk about what they care about, how they talk about it, and then be very clear on what you want them to do, and why what you want them to do is important to what they care about.
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
There's a few tweetables in there.
There's some major tweetables in there. Thank you, Conrad. That's dope. Okay, so Donnie, I guess go to you next.
Well, look, let me ask Alvin. You said 3 to 5 ways to capture the target audience. Do you mean how we would get their attention, or are you asking how do we define who they are, decide who they are?
That's a great question.
Yes,
I just want to make sure. I mean, I think you mean how to grab their attention, but I'm not 100% sure, because the question that we get more often, maybe, is how do I decide? How do I know who my target audience is?
What?
And so I'm assuming that question is out there, but I'm not 100% sure where you wanted to go with this.
Because if it is that, then your alliteration is basically the answer to that. The dreams
Right.
and desires, fears, etc. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think we covered a lot. No, to be honest, because we were going on segueing into other conversations, but it was, there was still a lot of, we were putting different tips in the conversation all throughout. So, I mean, if anyone else has any questions, I think we gave them a lot, though. To be honest, I mean, I guess the only thing maybe if I had a question would be, I guess technically, is your market oversaturated? Oh, if your market, okay. I was gonna ask a question. Maybe we should go to Thaddeus first. You let me know, Sharice.
I did.
Okay, can we grab his, and please don't forget you know what, Jonnelle, you blessed us to share. So no, what's your question? And Thaddeus will come back.
If I was someone that, just starting my business and I'm thinking about, I guess, what is your process? What is your process in okay, I want to come up with a paragraph, and you were using terms of, core concept, but am I just writing core concept, and I'm saying, I'm writing that out and then saying, okay, this is going to be a selling paragraph. Like, what's your process in actually getting everything down on paper or on the computer?
So it is a little the whole process is a little hard to explain just in a brief summary, but I will, I'll try to go. First of all, we start by keeping the end in mind. With every single step, we want to keep the end in mind. What is it that we are trying to do? You know, like with the image you showed earlier, I don't think they just made that image just like out of the blue. Like, it's like, okay, we want people to stop scrolling. We want people to pay attention. We want people to click on this. We want people to click see more. So number one, first thing, keeping the end in mind, right? The process as far as getting to know your audience, and even all the three tips that I had, they all coincide. But getting to know them, and Sharice, we've been through this process. There's a ton of questions. So you can either talk to your audience directly, interviewing them, trying to find out, asking them, like, what are you thinking about right now? What are your dreams, desires, fears, frustrations, stuff like that? Or you spy on them. You spy on them through Facebook groups, Facebook pages. You're always looking for comments. What are people saying? Amazon reviews, and again, it depends on your industry. I don't know if, so in the music industry where people can leave reviews and stuff, but YouTube
Twitter.
Comments,
Mm-hmm.
Twitter. Okay, Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if Twitter's like Twitter, yeah. I mean, you can go down a rabbit hole, like,
All day.
Wherever they are online, Reddit, Quora, Amazon, Twitter, Facebook, spy on them. And so it's a process. Like, you got to go and you're looking for this. You're looking for stories. You're looking for how. Oh, are we still here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Here.
We're looking for how people. Sorry, my thing just cut out for a second there. We're looking for how people are talking.
You should go sit in your theater. You'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No. So yeah. So that that's the beginning of the process of knowing them, and then also speaking their language. At the same time, you're looking for how they're talking about the other things in your industry, but also too, even outside of what you directly do. If you know that your audience also likes football or whatever, then you go look at other stuff where they are commenting, where they're interacting, what they're being passionate about. And then as far as like that last step of being clear, it's I have a little saying: short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, when appropriate. And so just be clear. I guess a little tip: there's a thing called a Hemingway app, HemingwayApp.com. You can paste in any message that you have there, and it'll tell you what grade level your messaging is, your writing is, and you want to get it like as low as possible. I think they say like grade 6 or less is good. A lot of times you'll paste something in there. It might be at a 12th grade reading level, and so what that means is just that it's just hard to read, and so you don't want people thinking about what the words that they're reading. You want them thinking about the message behind the words. And so you want the words to be as simple as possible. And that doesn't mean that it's, you're not dumbing it down, but you're simplifying it, just making it as clear as possible. So that's kind of a 30,000 foot overview of like the process, the research, and then from the research, you're taking, keeping the end in mind of what you want them to do, writing some messaging, and making sure that messaging is clear, making sure it's not confusing. I can't remember off the top of my head. There's also websites where you can paste in some text and it'll read it out loud to you. And so you can hear like, okay, how does this actually sound? Or also you can read it, you read it out loud and see where am I stumbling, because that's what's going on when people are reading your messages as well.
Hey, Conrad, thank you. Those are great tips and so many tools. Like y'all, he just gave y'all like Conrad, what's your cash app? Because they need some money right now.
Thank you.
Seriously. And I just had to say, Conrad, especially, there's a certain author and chef in the audience, in the comments that, came through. Your actual sister, my sorority sister,
yeah.
But, her usual, she said you forgot something. So she's like, oh, and by like one more tool from the Deas family. She got it. Like, that's Ashley, right?
Yeah.
I did this. And she's like, that's great. And one more awesome tip. It's like, thank you, Ashley. Great to see you, Soror. She's a chef, amazing chef, y'all. Check her out, Chef Ashley. And she's written a book and writing her second book right now. So I would, when I say y'all are in these comment streets with some awesome, awesome people, like seriously. Ashley said, "I'm sorry." I love you. I love you, Ashley. You're awesome, and you absolutely come through with great ads, like additions. It's awesome. So thank you, seriously. And so okay, so we've gotten Conrad's 3. Donnie, did you have an additional, like, to summarize your 3 tips, and then we can summarize Jonnelle's? And I did promise we would come back to Thaddeus.
So I think, did I share? My tips were make sure you're talking about the reader or the viewer more than yourself. The second thing, which we talked about, but I didn't officially categorize it as tip number 2, it's to target the emotion. But we talked about that, going for an emotional response more than a logical one. A lot of times we want to share our resume, like this, I did this, I done that, I did this. Nah, it's boring. Even that's why you don't have a job, brother. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm joking. But
preach on it. We need those tips too.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, your resume should be interesting as well. But I mean, in terms of marketing, you don't really just want to list facts. Don't just list features of your thing. You want to go for an emotional response. And any emotion is better than nothing, because people will not be bored in 2020 and 2021. They're not going to do it. There's 1 million things they could do that are more interesting than reading a list of stuff. They're not going to be bored. They won't pay attention to you. So you got to go for what's a good way to do that is to just target an emotion. If you make them angry, I mean, I know you don't want to make people angry. You don't want to make people scared. I know. Sometimes it's appropriate though. If you're going to help people, like Kidz Mic, right? I remember Conrad talking about the kids in the backseat rambunctious doing this here. Put on Kidz Mic and they smoothed out, have an enjoyable car ride. And so there's something that you could be angry about. Like the music that's on the radio right now has got my kids about to throw bows and whatever they're doing these days. So, they're mad. You can be mad, but I'm going to bring you away from anger. I'm going to say there's a reason for you to be angry. There's a reason for you to be scared about COVID. There's a reason for you to be, anxious about the economy. But we got a solution over here. But you got to go for the emotions, not just stating facts. That's what a lot of people do. We never learned, because actually one of the first questions you asked, Therese, was do you see people grow out of this? No, you don't naturally learn that it's the wrong way. You just say email doesn't work, Facebook ads don't work. They do work if you know what you're doing. So you may stumble across it, or you may see somebody else doing it and you say, oh, but you don't naturally figure this out. It's one of the things you got to study and model other people. Do your homework. Once you see, okay, this is what's resonating, do more of that, and you figure it out. But anyway, tip number 2 is go for the emotions, because that's what gets people engaged. That's what gets people to make decisions. Believe it or not, we don't make decisions based on facts most of the time. Otherwise, nobody would smoke. Nobody would eat fried chicken.
Right.
We wouldn't do it. You know, we would all be vegans. We would all do 100 push-ups in the morning. We wouldn't drink tech.com. We wouldn't do it.
Right.
You do that, Jonnelle, you're into the
I'm
exercise.
a vegan, that's all. That was
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. You're smarter than the rest of us. So I shouldn't say nobody is logical. That's not true. We make logical decisions, but most of the time, you even became a vegan. I won't say you, but most people became a vegan because they want to live a long life. They want to live a healthy life. They want to look good. They want to feel good. And those emotions, those are emotions. It's fear of death. It's fear of morbidity, right? Bad health. Or it's fear, like what Conrad said, the girls aren't going to like me. The dudes ain't going to like me. I'm not going to be able to run with the boys on a basketball court. I want to be able, whatever, all those things. They're emotions. So go for the emotions, not the facts. You put facts in there. Don't lie. Don't, put emotions in there. And stories also, like stories are a great way to get emotion without, you don't have to feel bad about like manipulating people. You're telling a story. You're trying to get them into an emotional place where they're ready to do what's best for them. So I had somebody just last week tell me that, like, I don't want to feel like I'm manipulating people. You're manipulating them a little, but that's a good thing because they need to take the action that you're encouraging them to take. They need to do, and it's good for them. You're just showing them that it's good for them. And manipulation really is just skillful handling of a person or an object. So you're skillfully leading them, leadership, you're leading them to a good outcome for themselves. So don't ever feel bad about that. And I say use every tool in the toolbox that's ethical to do that. And maybe some things are ethical that you don't know about. Whatever. The main point is that. So emotion. And then the third thing is bring the proof. So even though I just said go for emotions and not fact, you should have some layer of proof that what you're saying is true. And when it comes to music, a lot of artists on here, it could be great reviews, testimonials. If you got Fred Hammond said this is a tight album, he'll do that. Then it's like that's proof. If Fred likes it, you're gonna like it. If you got great reviews, it's a 4.9 star review or score or whatever you call it, rating on Amazon. There's 80,000 people who downloaded on day one. These things are just proof that you're doing something that other people dig. And social proof is powerful. Again, that's feeling. If everybody else likes it, I don't want to be the one who doesn't get this. And I think, there's value there. So whatever you can do, and not everybody has those things, right? If you don't have 50,000 downloads, you don't have Fred Hammond, you can find some things that prove that what you're saying is the truth. It could be, other people are doing the same thing I'm doing. Now, this is just my version of that. So you want to prove it. Don't just say things like you said, I'm spitting that hot fire, Dylon style. Prove it, son. Prove it. And one way you can prove it is to show it, right? I want to see you spit 16. Prove it to me that you fire. And then maybe I'll pick up the album. And if you come whack, I'll never pay attention to you again because you don't do that.
I think that's part of why we see two things that are really, really popular and relevant to hip hop and music culture. One, the slam dunk contest by, what was by Sprite. And I'm always, hey, like Coke's taking care of me.
They give a royalties or stuff like
that. They are loving me in retirement. So I'm like, thank you, Coke. I love you, Coke. I love you. So anyway, back to that. So like, you think of the slam dunk contest and the cipher on B, which is now like actually under the page, former vice president of Sprite. Now she's CMO of BET.com. Love you, Kim. If you ever see this, love you. But anyway, and I mean that. Like this, she's a great person, really great leader. I recommend checking her out online too. But the point I'm making is that those two things are both like I think they're so popular. They show the proof. You can't get into the slam dunk contest and fake it. There's none of that. There's no. You can't jump into the cipher and like you might be able to come with some memorized stuff, but chance if you're on that stage, I know. I mean you manage rappers like kind of call out, hey, dude, you're not freestyling, you know? And so those are two things that have grown wildly popular, and they you that it's important to come with that proof. Y'all got some great comments in here. Nimi is saying, Nimi, I love the secret formula drop. Nimi, that's awesome. Share secret formula number 2. Target their emotions, all caps. Yes, like the movie Boiler Room is right. Emotion creates emotion. Evans is right. You know, emotion, it matters. And then we've got Ashley. She's so we love you right back, Ash. To you, Con, and then I also want to make sure that we get your just a quick recap, because y'all have stayed and been so generous with your time, so that I can let y'all go and y'all still be my friends. Come back and see us one day. So like last time we in there for a week, like no. So we're gonna have to wrap this up. But Jonnelle would love any. And Nimi says great tips to you. Very relatable. So
I just brought up the imagery. Really having catching imagery, that's really important. I also, it wasn't really a tip, but I talked about finding an influencer that has a similar target audience with you and pull ideas from some of their content. And then my third tip is going to be hire a copywriter to revise your resume that I'm stealing from Donnie. And just in case anybody on the call needs to know that too, because I think that's a great tip.
Checks in the mail.
Those are awesome, y'all. Jonnelle, what's your cash app? But see this that imagery.
Jonnelle, it's right here, just with the $sign in front of it.
There you go. It's just like her back. So y'all feel, send her love. Everything. Hey, Obama got elected off of $1 donations. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But those are dope. Like the imagery, like it matters. It matters so much around like big boardrooms. Like they're like, are we using humanity on this shot? Are we using this on that? Like imagery, she's so right. And said about like borrowing some of them emotional hints from the influencers. If you don't have that audience yet, then you can absolutely, jump in and see what people with a similar audience are. Their audience is telling them what's up. So I love those. And we've got some just some love from Danielle. Danielle's been riding with us. Thank you for jumping in, Danielle. I'm so glad we're gonna hang out again tomorrow morning. So that's gonna be awesome. So y'all, what are you working on now that people should know about? And yeah, so like what's your current project that because y'all are given the awesome sauce, and I really want to make sure people know where what you're working on now, that they can get ready to jump into with you. So copy bosses, what you got? Conrad, I'll start with you. What would you like people to know that you have in the pipeline, or or where you want them to jump in? I don't, if it's the email corner or whatnot, but yeah.
All right, so I am working on a few things, but as far as copy is concerned, people can come and join. I'm going to get active back in our copywriting group on Facebook. They can go to emailcopyclass.com/group, or they can search email copywriting on Facebook, and it'll pop up. It's the email copywriting corner. On Facebook, my wife and I are doing some things. We're about to come out with a date night planner and journal, date night on purpose. And
what's the website again? Email copy class?
Yeah, emailcopyclass.com/group.
Okay.
And that'll take them right to the group there on Facebook. And that's where you'll find me. And I think I haven't talked to Donnie about this yet, but we may have a little more clarity and organization on some of the things that we talked about today in there, to expand on some of these concepts that we talked about today from there.
Awesome.
I'll ride with that.
I'll say this as a proud member of the group. I'm all for it. But let me not.
Is one of the early members. You should get a badge or something.
I think badges are in order. I'm for it. I think Ashley should get one too. But yeah.
No doubt. I think it's nepotism now. It's Conrad's sister, and I consider her my sister as well.
Well, I've adopted you in my head, Donnie, so we can just roll like that. Like
I'm your son?
No, I've adopted you as my brother. Oh, it's a Hampton thing. It's a Hampton thing. So
how'd you know I didn't have no parents?
Adopted. Where was you raised? No. It's a Hampton thing. We adopt big brothers. It's easy. So I've adopted you in my head. So there you go. Yeah. I didn't tour the Hampton campus, but I kind of went around the campus when I was a junior. So I almost wanted to go there, but
you went where?
Right.
Where did you go?
I went to North Park University in Chicago, and then I dropped out right after I got there.
I was gonna say, did you go to PWI? I don't know if that's gonna sit well. No, I'm just playing. I went to PWI.
I basically went no place. When I went to this school, I saw this gorgeous girl in my dorm, and then I married her, and then I dropped out. So
that girl look good.
I said, look, I gotta take her out the market now, because if she realizes she could do better, I got a shot. And as soon as I married her, all these dudes came out the woodwork. Like, I thought we was gonna be together. I almost got in fights and stuff. It was crazy.
Oh wow. The secret life.
That's a little inside baseball right there. Everybody don't know that.
Donnie Bryant unplugged.
There's only 2 people that I really threatened to hurt. I didn't actually hurt anybody, but 2 people. Anyway.
That's good.
So where should they? Ashley said, so you went there with purpose in mind.
No, I distinctly did not. I was done with girls. I said, I ain't doing this, but she was just too fine. So.
And now she's cooking lasagna and greens for your holidays.
I'm telling you, it gets better. We've been married for almost 19 years, and it gets better every day. It's unbelievable.
Oh, that's awesome.
And listen, I say that for the effect. No, it's true. It's actually true. And no lie. That's right. I know half of the people listening are ladies, and the dudes are gonna be like, "Come on, son," and the ladies are gonna be like, No, I'm just playing. It's actually true. But also, shout out to Conrad. That book, Husband on Purpose, is the truth. That's gonna help you in your marriage, man or woman. Actually, I think mostly women are buying that book, right, Conrad? We don't have to talk about that.
When
the truth is, it will help.
When he said author, I was like, oh, we've got authors all over the Deas family now. Okay. And I see that Ashley jumped up when I said we need the yes to the badge. She was real quick. She might need a byline. She may need, I thought she might need a byline, but now I'm a little convinced. So hook my girl up, hook her up.
No doubt.
So yeah. Donnie, where should people find you, and what else do you want them to know that you're working on, or that they can jump into?
I'm going to be on the 2024 ticket. Kamala Harris, Donnie Bryant.
Thank you for your service, Donnie.
Because I'm figuring out my life. So what you can do, the best way to get with me is my website is Donnie-Bryant.com. And there's a box on there somewhere you can sign up for my email list. I try to email every week. That's my best content. Really, I think it's my best content. And anything that I do come up with, other than that 2024 ticket, will probably be announced there first.
Awesome. So that's where we.
Would y'all vote for me, Kamala and Donnie?
What are you running for? Yeah, what's the highest office?
Yeah,
No,
I
we
mean, she
can't.
could
We
be,
can't.
she
We
could run the
can't do that.
show. I'll be the vice president. I'll just,
Vice president.
be the, I'll be the, what do they call it? The
There you
attack
go.
dog. I'll do the dirty work for her.
So awesome. Okay, so I think you can pull it off. You've got the enough funny and smart. So Jonnelle, where should folks connect? What are you
You can
working on? What
find
do you want them to
me.
know?
My website is hiphoproyalty.co. All of my tags on social media is my name with it's in front of it. ITS Jonnelle JONNELLE. Right now, I've been working with Houdini on some things that probably don't apply to most people, but I've been working on getting their
It's a conspiracy.
copyrights back. I don't know. There's a loophole in the copyright law that after 30 years of you owning a copyright, oh, you can't hear me? After 30 years of owning a copyright, you can petition to get your copyrights back. So I've been digging deep and learning a lot about the law and so that we could move forward with that process, and we have. And I've talked to a lot of people, and it's very few artists that have gone through this process, and so that's something I've been doing. I've been working with a new artist that most people don't know, and I've just been on my own health and wellness journey during this time, since mostly been in the house. So I've been very motivated to take it up a notch on that end. So if you want to know want to chit chat about alternative medicine, I'm your girl. If you want to talk about music business, I'm your girl. But that's where they can find me. And I'm really happy, Sharice, that you invited me on here. I had a really great time.
Thank you for jumping on. You said hiphoproyalty.co. Okay, .co.
As in company.
Yes. As in her company. That's right. And I just want to like big up Jonnelle. I mean, like even that, like you're literally like working on rights and a project, for hip hop legends. So that's amazing. I know there's stuff that y'all are also working on. I won't steal the thunder, but like there's some amazing like documentary-ish projects that they've had going on. So I just like Jonnelle is like so humble about like the things that she's done and that she's doing always. And I think actually all three of you are. So y'all, they've given you your contact information. I also want to show some love here to Danielle because she has rolled with us the entire session. So everybody who checks us out, Danielle is at The Ultimate Creative, so you can check her out there. Y'all, I just say thank you so much for jumping in with us. Everyone who's watching that is signed up for the Automate My Good challenge or lab, then I would say totally make sure you bring that mindset from this session to the digital campaign that we're doing together, so that it can work, for you, and that people can see more of your good works. That's the point, y'all. Most folks who follow me or connected with me or connected with Expansion of FanGage are doing good works or have good messages that the world needs. So please, if you're not in to get the free digital campaign, you might want to go to automatemygoods.com. We'll get you right. It's something we're doing in the name of Veterans Day. Let's share some freedom. Let's do that. Get you set up, get you your own templates. Danielle says Danielle's in, she's got hers. So and so everybody else, I encourage y'all to jump in with us. Jump into the email copy corner. They drop nuggets like all the time. It's awesome, and please be sure to jump in with Jonnelle. Check her out online and keep your eyes peeled for those awesome hip hop legend and wellness things that she's doing. Ashley says thank you. Y'all are getting all the love in the cuz. Donnie, Conrad, Jonnelle, like thank you. You've helped people, and and I get moved because I know the folks that are in here with us are generally trying to do things that's going to help somebody. So,
Sharice,
thank you so much. Hey,
let me chime in real quick. We forgot about Deas, but I was just gonna say you just really have to be
Thaddeus.
Sorry, Thaddeus. Thank you, Jonnelle.
Yeah, being creative, being unique. That's how you set yourself apart. So I mean, that's basically, the answer, and you kind of have to dig a little deeper with that.
That's right. Yeah, Thaddeus asked, how do you handle a saturated? And she, that's absolutely right. Also want to show some love to an amazing trumpet player, celebrated trumpet player Tiffany Good. She's in there. Like, so just thank you, Jonnelle. I totally did not get back to Thaddeus the way I needed to. So my total bad. Thaddeus is a writer.
Can I real quick for Thaddeus as well? And I believe he said earlier he is a photographer. So sometimes, a lot of times, we think our niche is oversaturated, and it's not. So that's the first step. Just maybe even questioning that thought. When that thought comes up, is my niche really oversaturated? And then also, niching down. Are you a photographer? Are you a family photographer? Are you a wedding photographer? Do you, what is that specialty that you bring and that you serve your audience with? And then all the other tips that we talked about, you have to watch the recording, but apply all the other stuff that we talked about to your specific audience and how you specifically serve them. And me and my family, we just took pictures last week or a couple of days ago. So we weren't like overwhelmed with, we didn't have like 100 choices to choose from, of photographers. So just saying that it may not be oversaturated.
It's always good to doubt your doubts. We doubt our beliefs. You should doubt your doubts. Like, if I don't know how I'm going to do this. Well, don't think that way. Find that corner, that niche, like Conrad said. I would say this. Sharice just totally left. So that means we get to do whatever we want now. Now, no, but that is and Jonnelle and Conrad have kind of said you have to be unique, which means you got to know what other people are doing and do something different, but do it in a way that's specifically going back to what we've said all night, which is it's valuable in terms of what your audience, if you know who you want to target, what's valuable to them, as they define value. Like, I need to know I'm going to be able to, have my kids, they're not going to break anything. We don't have to worry about that. Or you're good with kids who can't sit still. You can capture those moments. I have 4 kids, and 2 of them suddenly don't take pictures well. When you say cheese, they put on fake smiles, and you can tell it looks terrible. Well, it's weird. It's like, I need someone who knows how to work with kids, who, whatever, you pick your little niche and you do something that nobody else is doing. And like that means you got to know what other people are doing and do it for a specific audience, whoever, again, who's most valuable and desirable for you as a client, and then go after them hard. Because the other thing is, number one, most of your competitors, I almost said opponents, most of your competitors are not marketing themselves hard. They're not, which means it can't be oversaturated because nobody knows they're out there. There could be 10,000. We don't know them. We know a couple dozens, maybe. And so you have an opportunity to step up where they're not showing up. But where there's still an audience that's valuable to you. You can be there because nobody else is there. And then they're not marketing hard, but they're not marketing very well. Most of them are not. There's maybe 1 or 2. No, whatever your market is, I can guarantee you 1 or 2 photographers are doing a good job marketing themselves. They are. Yeah. So if you get kind of good at messaging, your imaging is already going to be tight, right? But if you get good at messaging and going after some specific niches, there's going to be no competition for you.
Yeah, check out Jason McCoy. McCoy is his last name, right? Jason McCoy and Chip. What's Chip's last name? Chip Dizzard.
Listen, I called Jason. I wanted a video. I said, Jason, come do. He said, I don't do video. That's not what I do. What's your niche is as much about what you don't do as what it is that you do. Like somebody who wants to do everything, they're like, okay, you probably aren't that great at anything. I only do one thing, and I'm the best at that. So Jason McCoy is that dude, and I think Jason learned the game, at least a good chunk of the game, from Chip. So yeah, check those 2 guys out. They're great dudes, really smart, great photographers as well. And Chip be grinding too. Chip is grinding, and Jason, he do these big celebrity guys like what's the dude from Pursuit of Happiness? Chris Gardner. He did Chris Gardner right over here in some skyscraper. You know, Jason be doing that. So those are dudes you want to check out. And the other thing is they're doing other things than just photography. I know Jason's got he's training other photographers, so that sets him up as an expert. Not only is he a photographer, but he's training photographers, and he's got his own system which he sells, the McCoy effect. Like I can get, you know, pull out of you expressions that other photographers ain't going to be able to do, and I can prove it because here's a whole portfolio full of people doing these great, you know, really great shots that just look authentic and real, and it's like there's something special going on. So anyway, you show your stuff, and then but be brave, be courageous about it. Realize how great you are and go for it, man. There's nothing to lose.
That's dope. That right there. Boom. Be courageous. And I think that's what y'all often hear us all saying. We're scared to hit send. We're scared. So much fear brought to the door of the copywriter. You know, folks, or the copywriting expert, when folks are trying to learn how to do their own copy, saying, or we're afraid to hit send, afraid to email our folks, afraid to send. Thank you. That be courageous. That's so important. Deas, he says, awesome. Thank you. And Ashley's giving y'all a major shout out for the Copywriter Corner group, which I need to post stuff more often. I get, I don't know.
If you want your badge, you do.
Terrible. Huh?
If you want your badge, you do.
Oh, okay. So, all right. I want my badge. So I'll start. I'll
badge
take it.
gang. Badge
Yeah.
gang? Okay.
Yep. I stole that from
Lamar.
Yep.
It's awesome. Yeah. So but Ashley's right. The email copywriting corner, y'all. We shared the link for it earlier on where to go to get it. If you missed it, can we get that? We get that up right one more time. Check it out. Ashley said that it was major for launching her book. I need to post more often. I get scared because I think my stuff is so sucky compared to what you all write from a messaging standpoint. I'm a digital girl, automation girl. I've got that all day. Like you said, know what you're good at. I know y'all are better at writing copy than I am. So, but I'm gonna let that go because Ashley's right. She's killing it with her book, and y'all gave great tips and feedback there. So if y'all haven't signed up, I totally encourage you to get into the copywriting group. And I'm gonna invite folks one more time. If you're not in our session for Automate My Good, come on in. And y'all, thank you so much. Y'all are awesome. Super, super hugs. And we're gonna end love y'all. And we're gonna end the broadcast with what Donnie said. Be courageous, jump out there, do your copy, do it. Everybody have an awesome day. If you know folks that need this, share it. See, Danielle was brought by Thaddeus. So, and look what she got. So, just love folks and share. And Ashley, I'm with you, Ashley. Next time I'm scared to post, I'm gonna call you. And so you can beat me up in a good way, in a sisterly pink and green way, and tell me to go do it. And I'll say what she said. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, thank you, Sharice. Thank you, Jonnelle.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.